In 1962, Parnelli Jones, first to exceed 150 miles an hour in qualifying for the Indy 500. 16 years later, Tom Sneva, the first over 200, surpassing a milestone some thought would never be reached. 1990, Emerson Fittipaldi averages 225 and leading the field for the 74th running of the 500. Now, another barrier has fallen, 230 by Jim Crawford in practice. It has brought more intensity to the Brickyard. But with speed, there is a price to pay. In practice on Wednesday, four-time winner and defending champion Rick Mears miraculously escaped this frightening crash with minor feet and wrist injuries. Last year's winning car was completely destroyed. Thursday, three-time Formula One world champion Nelson Piquet found the concrete walls unforgiving. His rookie visit to the Speedway ended with severe injuries to his feet and legs. All of these stories and more on this edition of Speedweek. Pole day at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the 76th running of the 500, capping off what has been a week filled with tragedy and incredible speed. Hi everyone, I'm Bob Jenkins and welcome to Speedweek. In just a moment, Gary Lee will report on the action at Indy, but first, let's recap the events leading up to the first day of time trials. The tragic part came Thursday afternoon when three-time world driving champion Nelson Piquet spun and hit the fourth turn wall nearly head-on. 8 hours of surgery were required to repair his severely injured feet and legs. Piquet had been one of the fastest in practice, but the crash ended any hopes of competing at Indy this year. Piquet's wasn't the only crash during the week, but it was the most serious. On Wednesday, defending 500 champion Rick Mears broke a water line, sending last year's winning car into the second turn wall and over on its side. A broken bone in his left foot and a sprained wrist didn't sideline him very long. Before that, Team Penske's only backup 92 chassis was destroyed by Canadian rookie Paul Tracy, who hit the first turn wall just after exiting the pits. Tracy was not hurt in the crash. From the first day last Saturday, speeds have been remarkable. The Buick Lolas have dominated the speed charts, with Jim Crawford recording the fastest unofficial lap in track history at over 233 miles an hour. Not too far behind are the Andrettis, Michael and Mario, with their new Ford Cosworth Lolas. Following Piquet's accident, team owner John Menard put Al Unser Sr. in Nelson's backup car on Friday. But during the afternoon, Gary Bettenhausen was shaking the car down and it broke a water line. He spun and hit the wall in turn number 1. The car was not badly damaged, but could not be repaired for the first qualifying weekend. So that set up the run for the pole position today. And for a wrap-up on what happened, here's Gary Lee.
Thanks, Bob. After a lengthy rain delay, they got the track dried out, open for practice, and a record crowd saw a lot of action and record speed at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Early in the practice session, Jim Crawford, a favorite for the pole position, lost the Buick engine and spun in turn 3. There was no contact and the car was not damaged. The crew went to work to change the engine. But later in practice, Hiro Matsushita apparently ran through some oil entering turn 1. The car would not steer. It slid into the wall. The Japanese driver suffered a broken right thigh. A.J. Foyt is getting his usual amount of attention as he prepares for his 35th consecutive 500, but seemed to be in good humor when he talked about his physical condition.
Oh, the body's just used and wore out, but it's feeling pretty good right now, Gary.
Once qualifying began, the fans didn't have long to wait for that much-anticipated record run. 1990 Indy 500 winner Arie Luyendyk was the first to qualify and pushed his Lola with the new Ford Cosworth engine to a 4-lap average of 229.127. That's 4 miles an hour faster than the old record held by Emerson Fittipaldi. Last year's fast qualifier Gary Bettenhausen thrilled the fans with his run in a Lola Buick. On lap 3, he set a 1-lap track record of 229.317. But his 4-lap average was slower than Luyendyk's at 228.932. 1986 winner Bobby Rahal is now a car owner of the Lola Chevy he drives. The veteran from Ohio qualified for his 11th race with a 4-lap average of 224.306. Scott Brayton had a choice of a Lola Buick or Lola Chevy and decided to qualify the Lola Chevy with a 4-lap average of 226.142. Former track record holder and 1989 winner Emerson Fittipaldi drove his Penske Chevy to a 4-lap average of 223.607. With only 20 minutes remaining in the qualifying session, Roberto Guerrero electrified the crowd when he became the first driver to officially break the 230-mile-per-hour barrier. Guerrero drove a Lola Buick owned by drag racer Kenny Bernstein to a 1-lap track record of 232.618 and a 4-lap record of 232.482. Mario Andretti qualified a Lola with the new Ford Cosworth engine at 229.503. A.J. Foyt would have been the last to qualify today. He had 3 laps in at over 226 miles an hour, but lost power on the 4th lap and headed for the pit area. Let's take a look now at the tentative starting lineup. But remember, tomorrow, Michael Andretti and Jim Crawford will still have a shot at the pole position when qualifying resumes at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Speedweek is brought to you by Anheuser-Busch, who proudly brings you Family Talk. Let's stop underage drinking before it starts.
Hi everyone, I'm Jerry Punch, and we're at the National Cable Television Association Convention in Dallas, Texas. I'm standing by with the King, Richard Petty, the all-time winningest driver in stock car history. We're going to be talking with Richard about what's going on with the 1992 Fan Appreciation Tour, and on the heels of that great finish at Talladega, what's ahead in the next few events on ESPN for the King. Back with more, but let's go back to Speedweek.
All right, thanks, Jerry. Look forward to the conversation with the King. Well, do you remember where you were on October 6th of 1991? Well, General Motors does, because that was the last time that one of their cars was in victory lane at a NASCAR Winston Cup race. With Ernie Irvan's Chevrolet on the pole, GM hopes were high that Ford's 12-race winning streak might be stopped on the Alabama high banks. But Davey Allison jumped to the lead quickly from his outside pole position, a spot he would enjoy for most of the day. The first half of the race was being run at a record pace until Charlie Glotzback brought out the first caution of the day on lap 77 with this long slide out of turn 2 and contact with the inside dirt embankment. Charlie, Saturday's ARCA winner, was uninjured. Ricky Rudd brought out another caution on lap 144 when his right rear tire went down, sending him sliding into the turn 2 wall. Ricky would recover to finish 26, 2 laps down. Later, Jimmy Spencer made contact with Wally Donovac Jr. and then went into a spectacular ride through the air before a miraculous touchdown on all 4 wheels. Spencer was able to drive his Chevrolet back to the garage area. Following the final restart, Allison held the top spot, while the last lap battle was for 2nd through 5th, with Bill Elliott barely edging Dale Earnhardt at the line for 2nd. Sterling Marlin was 4th, Irvin 5th. Davies' victory, coupled with his Daytona 500 win, earned him a $100,000 bonus from Winston and gives him 2 shots at $1 million. He could earn another $1 million with a NASCAR Winston Cup championship. He holds a 67-point lead over Bill Elliott. Harry Gant's 24th place finish dropped him to 3rd in the standings, with Alan Kulwicki and Morgan Shepherd rounding out the top 5. Davey is the first driver since Bill Elliott in 1985 to have a shot at the Winston Million at the Coca-Cola World 600. Now, Bill won the bonus that year, but not until the Southern 500 Labor Day weekend. Davey should be the odds-on favorite at Charlotte. In 3 races there last year, he had 2 wins, the Winston and the Coca-Cola 600, and note the amount of laps that Davey has led. Last Saturday's Busch Grand National race at New River Valley Speedway in Virginia was won by Jeff Burton, but he was disqualified after a post-race inspection uncovered an illegal part in the rear end assembly. Bobby Dotter was awarded the victory, his first in that series. And there was also a first-time winner in the AC Delco Challenge Series. John Benson Jr. took the victory and the points lead at Columbus Motor Speedway in Ohio. On the other end of the spectrum, the World Championship Formula One season has had only 1 winner so far in '92. The weather affected several drivers before race day, including Michael Schumacher, who damaged his new Benetton during this Friday spin, and pole sitter Nigel Mansell, who took this slide Saturday but did little damage. When the green light came on, John Alesi in a Ferrari took the middle road from his fourth row position and was nearing the front until Riccardo Patrese cut him off. Amazingly, everyone fell into place as Williams teammates Mansell and Patrese took their familiar 1-2 spots. And it looked like another 1-2 finish until lap 20 when Patrese slid behind a slower car and tagged the wall, ending his day. Mansell ran away from the field despite a downpour the last half of the race that made passing lap traffic a dangerous endeavor. Meanwhile, three-time world champion Ayrton Senna was in third place when he spun late in the race, but he saved it and secured his position. Until he spun again, this time into the muddy runoff area with only 3 laps remaining. No saving it this time, the Brazilian finished 9th. Mansell led all 65 circuits as he picked up his 25th career win. Schumacher's second-place finish was a career best, and Alesi finished 3rd. After 4 races, Mansell has a 22-point lead over Patrese and a 36-point advantage over defending champion Senna. Mansell's 25th career victory tied him with Jim Clark for 4th on the all-time win list.